Alright, the job for today is put a new window regulator in my Evo. Other day we went to leave for school, rolled the window down. Son came out, got in the car, we were heading to school. He went to roll the window up and we heard a snap and the window stuck down. So it's a new regulator, maybe motor. That was only about 30 bucks difference. I bought a new regulator and motor combo off of RockAuto. I'll throw the part number down in the description, but it's for the passenger side front door on the 2006 Evo 9. So let's get started swapping this out. So we get the door panel off. Not too many screws to do. There's a couple of caps on the front and back. You gotta pop the cap off. There's a little cap off the door handle, and there's a little cap down here in the handle to pop out. And there's a Phillips screw under that. And you want to be kind of careful with these. This little clip that's supposed to stay in there so it doesn't fall off. You pull too hard, it'll break. Or if it's just too old and brittle, it might fall off and break, but not much you can do about that if it's super old and brittle. Same with these front and back caps. They're supposed to stay on with the base. Be careful, you could retain that. But this card is getting a little old, so it is possible they'll break. These are all Phillips screws. Most of them are pretty small. That one's pretty big because it handles a lot of load when you're shutting the door. I can't find the rest of the ones, but you want to get yourself a pair of non-marring panel removal tools. There's one that has an angle to it. I can't seem to find it, so I'll have to use what I've got. Try to work your way around. Hopefully you don't break these clips, but you got to pull it forward a little bit. Remove it from the door. I forgot about that one. This one has a little cover on it too, and there's a screw behind that, so I'm going to pop that out. Forgot about that one. The bottom ones are all just pressed straight in. The top is hooked into the top of the window, so you want to lift that up off of there. And there's going to be a clip in here you got to get off. You work that through and it'll stay inside the door if you get the right angle on it. And then unplug your electrical for your window switches. There's two connectors for that. Quite messy. It's totally detached from the thing. They give you an access hole right here for one of the screws, the other screw's right there. That'll detach it from the window regulator. You can see right here I got my cable out of the window regulator. Clearly it's detached itself. Alright, so I got that one out. That one did fall down to the bottom, so you got to keep an eye on that. Grab the other one and keep a hold of the window, because once you detach these things, the window can just fall any direction. So pay attention. I got a hold of it at the front here. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and grab it up here. So now the window's detached. I can raise it up, get it out of my way. Screwdriver and stick it into that hole. Got it propped in there so it can't fall down. I'll get some blue tape and tape it over that just to be sure. Because if that falls down and you break your window, you'll be I just like to use painter's tape. This doesn't leave any residue. Easy to get off later on. There, so now our window's secure. I can actually just pull that out. Now we can pull out the mounting bolts. You got the two here for the bottom of the regulator, two here for the top, and then three that hold the motor in. And then the electrical cable for that is right here. There's the electrical plug. Little 10 millimeters, they're all exact same. You don't need to keep them straight. The two I pulled out of the bottom, actually these are the two out of the hold the window of the regulator. They do have lock washers in them, so keep those separate. But all the ones that from the outside here, those are standard. They just got a flat washer, no lock washer. The two with the lock washer hold the window to the regulator, so keep track of those. You want to have the lock washer holding the window in. Alright, so you pull that last screw out, hang on to that motor just so it doesn't fall. Alright, then you just got to maneuver it. Usually you can work these things out. Once in a while, you got to pull the speaker out. This one does have a little clip here holding that in. Motor's probably fine, so most of the time your motor's probably okay and you can just buy the regulator. It's a little bit cheaper. I'll open mine up now, but I went ahead and got the whole kit. Part number on this box. ACI motor regulator 389408. So before you get too deep, you're going to want to double check it and make sure that it is actually the same one. If they match. Alright, so you can see holes lay out right. The curvature is the same. Motor's in the same orientation, so it looks like we got the correct one. I did notice this clip here does not come on the new one, so I'm going to pull that one off and reuse it over here. That just clips it to the back of the door panel, keep the cable out of the way. So It'll sit in there just like that. Holes for that line up. That clip pops into that hole from the back side. And then attach that, line up the window. I usually leave these two upper ones slightly loose as I lower the window and get that lined up, and then put those screws in just to hold it. Plug the motor in. I do have to move this a little bit, and they've almost got it lined up to where it's lined up with these holes, but it's just a little bit too high. So I'm going to plug the motor in, turn the key on. I got to lower that down just a hair so I can get the screws through these holes and hook the window back up to it. There. Now it's lined up and I can get to those holes. Take the tape off. You just got to be real careful when I'm hanging onto that window and I don't let it fall. Okay, almost did. Woo. Gotta make sure it doesn't get away from you. Oh. And just make sure you keep it straight, because if you let it get crooked, it'll come out of the track. You'll just have to get it lined back up. So keep an eye on that. Once you get it down here far enough, it does have some little lips that have it sit on top of the regulator, so it should stay, but just take it slow. The regulator job's pretty simple and relatively inexpensive, but if you start breaking a window or something because you were getting careless, it'll make the job a lot more complicated, a lot more expensive real quick. I'm not going to go all the way tight just yet. Let me get this other one started. Make sure that's torqued as much as I want. I can go ahead and tighten up these. Let's try it out. Beautiful. Got some tit issues on there, but anyway, so you can see it's replacing a window regulator. It's relatively simple, pretty quick. We just did that in real time, and what's the counter say on the clock here? 26 minutes, and that's with me narrating and kind of taking a little extra time. So half-hour job now. I just got to put the door panel back on, and we're done. So don't be intimidated by a window regulator. Not that complicated on these modern cars. The old Chevy trucks and stuff, I used to do those. Those are riveted in. You got to drill them out, put new rivets in. Those were a bear, but modern cars are much, much easier. Oh, I will say, when you put the door panel back on, it's generally a lot easier if you have the window down when you do that, so that when you're trying to hook this into the top, the window's not in your way. Otherwise, it'll prevent it from going far enough in. All done. Let's try it again, make sure it still works. Nice. Listen for it to hit anything, if you're hitting any wires or cables or anything like that. All right, looking good. Job done.